Hey guys, this is Dee.
And this is Tiff. And
And
we
we're
are
for the
More for the
culture.
Culture.
I have my good friend Chima here. He just created an app, guys. It's going to be amazing, a game changer. His story is a little different than the rest of the series because this is something he's been working on prior to the pandemic, but actually launched during the pandemic. So he's going to kind of give you an update on how that whole process is, about his app, the services he provides, and just gives you a little rundown about how that all goes. So welcome to the show, Chima.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. So everyone, hi everyone. My name is Chima Operagi. Some people call me Obi, depends on how you met me. But I created an app called Epic6 in the Black. And so the goal of the platform is an ecosystem for Black entrepreneurs and business owners that integrate business knowledge and innovation capabilities to foster Black empowerment. So essentially, the aim is to build a dynamic network of entities and resources that interact with each other to create and exchange a sustainable value to members. Epic6 in the Black is a lot of meaning behind that name. So Epic stands for entrepreneurs partnering, innovating, connecting, creating, collaborating, cultivating community continuously. In the Black is an accounting term that references or refers to a positive network. So sometimes people say in the red, which is you're in the negative. In the Black, it's positive, and the goal is to bring our people together, not only to support one another, but to learn from one another and to build together. Because there are a lot of platforms out there, and their focus is on either bringing people together to support one another, which is great, or bringing people together to find Black-owned businesses and leverage Black-owned businesses. And one of the gaps while I was doing my research that I found was that's important. The financial aspect is important, support one another financially, but as the saying goes, the Black dollar circulates in the Black community like 3 or 4 times, and then it's done. And I feel like a few of the ways we could kind of close that gap is not only to support one another, patronize support. There should be a community or a platform that focuses on innovating. So creating so Dee, you have your brand, and Tiffany, I'm sure you have your brand, and others that have their brand. And it's like, how can we come together to kind of learn from what each person is doing?
That was going to be my next question. I was going to say, when exactly did you start? So it sounds like something that's really relevant to what's going on now. But then I was curious to know if this is something you started before, COVID-19 hit, and we were hit with quarantine and everybody had to shift how they were doing their business, or is this something because you saw the need in it, especially now, that you started?
I mean, it was really before COVID-19. So the app focuses on a business. So it's an ecosystem, if you will. So it's the business. There's a business piece of it. There's a knowledge piece. So the business focuses on creating customer value. So not only are you finding other Black-owned businesses, whether you're in skincare or health and beauty or podcasting. So that's one piece. The second piece is knowledge ecosystem. That focuses on generating new knowledge. So, what is your profession outside of this? Also
executive assistant for a podcasting company.
Okay, so
coincidentally.
So you're skilled in that, right? And I'm sure you know the ins and out of editing and stuff related to podcasting, right? And so you may, let's say, for example, you may do like classes that you put on YouTube, or you may write like articles or blog posts, and you probably post it somewhere. And let's say I'm coming on, I'm like, hey, I want to start a podcasting, but I don't know anything about podcasting. I can speak to what I want to do, but I don't even know what I know.
Right. It's hard to execute when you don't have all the tools.
Yes.
So essentially the app that you created Epic in the Black, right? Epic6 in the Black.
Epic6 in the Black.
It will be a place for us to go, not only to find services and different people that are skilled in a particular set, but also for us to exchange ideas. So that's amazing. But I wanted to know a little bit more about how that works out, because I'm pretty sure everybody's in the business of making money, right? So people probably don't want to give out this knowledge that they may have for free, or they want some type of bartering. So how does that work, or how does that come into play?
So right now, I just launched phase 1, right? So phase 1 focuses on the business piece, the knowledge piece, and innovation, but more specifically the business piece, right? And knowledge. And so phase 2 is where it's more where there's going to be the value add. So it's more of a community. So it's going to bring all the different pieces into that community. So you have access to stuff like seed accelerators and incubators, and it's black owned. It's black, or most of it, for majority of it is black owned, or black venture capitalists, and or people that support black owned businesses. And so you have access to that because sometimes, again, you don't know what you don't know. So it gives you a profile of the paid portion gives you a profile of like seed investors, basically investors, crowdsourcing tools and resources to help you kind of further along your idea.
So this is sort of like, is this sort of like a social networking kind of app? Like how interactive is the app? Right
now it's not so much interacting. It's just more like trying to get the word out there. Informational, right? Mm-hmm. So when I introduce the community piece, that's where it's going to be more interactive, where you create profiles and then you can kind of leverage. Just think about it like a YouTube, a Facebook, a LinkedIn, all in one.
Right.
All in one. And so you also have, so it's like, okay, when you enter the business piece, you can create a profile, and then based on that, that's going to feed into the community. So let's experts, if you will, right? And they would come in the community as experts. If they make money, I make money, almost like, so it's a win-win situation. It's like I'll take a percentage of their intellectual property. Mm-hmm. So when they're making money and they're giving advice and you are paying them based on that advice, I would get a percentage of it. But that's phase 2, and that's going to come hopefully before the year's out.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
So just a follow up. So you launched during the pandemic. How did that go for you? Did the pandemic affect your progress, or did it actually help you to focus more because we're quarantined in? And what advice do you give other people that are trying to launch their small business, or entrepreneurs that's trying to go after whatever they're going after during a pandemic?
Great question.
That's right.
Take your time.
Compound question.
All right. So regarding the pandemic, right? So I think I was working on it, working full time. You don't really have time after work, whatever the case is. But this pandemic has forced me to be still and just kind of focus and execute on the idea. It has definitely helped me because it has, forced me to sit down and just execute on the idea. And everything you see in the business section has been vetted and basically built by me. But as I kind of grow, I'll basically build a team around it. So I'm not doing everything. But the pandemic has definitely helped me. Some people say that, they were bored or whatever the case is, but I definitely use this time to level up. So, initially, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this, when you start something and you think this idea is just the best idea out there, and you start researching and getting into it, you find that other people have done it, right? And it's like, damn, should I continue, or, like, what do I do?
Yes.
And one of the things, that I try to focus on is just finishing. So if you start it, finish it.
think it's really good right now for the community to really have a resource, because everybody wants to support Black-owned businesses, but it's sort of like a scramble to know where to go. And I mean, we've had this conversation a lot. I just wish there was a Black Amazon, or just a really focused marketplace for Black-owned businesses and local businesses that we can support. And it seems like a lot of people do try to start that, but for some reason it's hard to get that infrastructure stable and to get a lot of vendors to sign up for it. So I think what you're doing as far as an app is amazing, and I commend you for that.
Absolutely.
And I wish you really good luck. And as you said, you said if you start it, finish it. I think that's one of the most valuable things to advise people who are starting businesses right now, because, like you said, you can find that somebody's doing the same thing as you, or,
get discouraged
easily by a lot of things. There's a lot of things in life, but that's great advice.
I would say there is an app, or is it a platform out there? They're actually trading on the stock exchange. It's called Jumila. It's an African marketplace. I know if you heard of it. It's similar to Amazon, but I don't, like you said, I don't think there's a Black version or American Black version of that.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely something that I think will get there eventually. I mean, I guess we all have to kind of work together to get to that point. To answer your second part of that question, I do have some advice.
Let's go.
Well, this is a running joke because Shima always got advice. So this is funny.
You know what? So you already knew this question was going to come up, and it was
that's why I asked. He loved giving advice. So let's hear it. Yes, let me know.
Time. Okay,
all right,
let's go.
I have 3 points, right? And I wrote it down, so you probably see me.
Love it. Prepared.
Right.
Always prepared. Let's go.
So for the businesses that have already been around, right? I'd say the ways to innovate your product or service. This is one way to stay competitive. So, you may have been doing business prior to COVID a certain way, but now you see that certain businesses are not doing so good. So it's like you have to think about ways to innovate, understand what your market is, who your market is, who the audience is, and innovate to them. For entrepreneurs thinking about a business idea, like I said earlier, I would say start. First, execute on an idea. One of my uncles told me once upon a time, if you're trying to attempt to cut, if you say, okay, you come to a forest and you're like, I got all these trees to cut down, you get discouraged. Right. But if you start with one tree and in a week, you cut down 5 trees, that's progress. Absolutely. In a month, 30 trees, that's progress. You know what I mean? Right. So I would say start. No matter, I think, the guy from the last podcast, I forget his name. I listened to it.
Superior Drinks.
Yeah, shout out to Jane from.
He mentioned something where it's like it's similar. I mean, I'm going to paraphrase somewhat. He said something related to, it's like everyone has ideas, right? And there's nothing new under the sun. But what your personality, your innovation, your thoughts, your creativity. To that idea makes it a different idea.
Right.
So kind of like, stick to that. So don't be discouraged about, because, you think about the airline industry, there's so many airlines. What makes JetBlue different from American Airlines? You just got to kind of take that approach.
That's a good point. That's a great analogy.
Absolutely.
And the third point, but that I would put out is, before you launch, get your idea in front of as many people as you can. Get them to critique the hell out of it, because I think as entrepreneurs sometimes we kind of hold some certain ideas close to the vest or close to the chest because we don't want people to steal ideas. But I don't think that's a good approach, because it's best to kind of get your idea to like a zombie idea. So no matter what you put in front of it, no matter who, because it's been vetted and it's been criticized and you've kind of plugged those loopholes. No matter, once it comes to market, it's almost like a perfected idea.
A lot of great advice. Really appreciate your time, for sure. Appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll track you. We'll keep in contact and track your progress, because we might need to network and expand our brand, so we know where to go now. Epic6 in the Black.
Epic6 in the Black. All right.